Je veux que tu saches. Réponds, dis-moi que ça va.
Bellz.
And your boy Napoleon B. Mike.
We are so glad to be back tonight.
We're back.
Yes, we are. And we have a special guest, a Baltimore native, former rapper, newly transitioned slam poet, Retro.
Boom, 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 boom.
So,
Retro, we're so glad to have you on the show. I was amazed at your amazing talent at the open mic here at Towson University on Monday.
Oh, man, I didn't get to come.
thank
I
you.
don't-
I'm super honored to even be on the show.
I was probably working.
I mean, I
or-
don't even
or-
think I invited you for real.
You see?
I'm just
you
kidding.
See,
I'm just kidding.
see.
See what? I know
can't-
you saw the post.
Yeah, I
on,
saw
on
the post.
Instagram,
I saw the post.
and you just ignored it.
No, I
This is
didn't
what we're
ignore
getting
it.
to.
I ain't just ignore it. That's
Oh,
not
okay.
at always just what happened. But
We know you love a great open mic, Napoleon B. Might.
yeah, I do. I just wish I could attend more. You
Yeah.
know, but work, life. Yeah.
Retro, what's your performance life like? Do you get to every open mic you see?
So I try to go to as many open mics as I can go to when I know I have a piece that I need to work on the performance of. If I'm at a point where I feel like all my poems are fine and I don't need to work on the performance, then I don't go to as many open mics. Like I might go to some just to meet new people and get new like followers and connections and network myself. But other than that, I don't go to as many.
Oh snap! So you're trying to get some new followers. All I heard is you're trying to be famous.
I don't know about fame, but I definitely am trying to get more known.
Okay.
That's what all of us are in here for. Trying to get more known. Right, right, right.
Definitely.
Right,
Uh, uh,
right.
oh, why the hesitancy, K?
Well, some people come on our show and they don't really care much about fame.
I
There's
was
some.
talking about us.
Oh, us?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be famous. Actually, I do want to be famous, but I don't want to be like A-lister famous, if that makes sense. I want to be a ghetto superstar. Like, I want to be very, very well known in my community and just like very tethered to the people who are fans of me.
Not a ghetto superstar, though.
Isn't that the terminology?
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, though, right?
Yes, yes. I know exactly what
Like
you're
the
saying.
superstar
Like,
of a neighborhood.
yeah, but like, ghetto superstar just sounds.
I think you're a little bit jealous of my dream. If
No,
it turns out
no,
that you want that, I'm gonna have
nah,
to tease you for it later.
nah. I want to be famous, but not like too famous. Like maybe,
That's what I just said.
may,
Retro.
maybe
what,
like a B-list celebrity.
what list? Where do you want to be on the list of fame?
That's a really good question. Um, I don't know, but I want to be famous enough that I can impact uh the art of poetry. Like I want to be able to push poetry further than what it is right now.
Right, like I want to be a B-lister, not or a C-lister, not a A-lister. Because A-listers, you got to worry about paparazzi and all that. Like no, I'm good with being a B or C-lister.
A B or C lister? Well,
You don't even want to be that. You just want to be a J-lister.
what the heck? I just want to be the Lauren Hill. Like, I would be cool if I just had that one album that was generational. I want to get into it to be influential
Hmm.
and to just inspire others. Like, that's my main goal, to be influential. So you have to have some celebrity to do that.
And
But
show up late to your concerts.
yes, that's going to be me.
Okay, K Bells. Okay,
Okay.
K-Bells.
But for Poetry Slam, we definitely want to perform some A-list quality poems.
Right, right.
Right, right. So,
Definitely.
Retro, what do you have for us?
Um, I got a couple poems. I would definitely start out with this one. Dear America, I never knew what I would say as president. See, growing up in Baltimore, you never get the chance to be more. Our park benches say that we're the greatest city in America. I guess failure be the precedent. I have friends who never made it out of high school. They didn't fail, just passed early. I would have never skipped school if I knew that'd be the last place I seen them. Trading my absent days for theirs, and they stopped teaching trade in high school. Don't want you to see the school to having pipelines for its president. I want to change the school system. Teach these kids that their story be more important than his story. The absent days are fine as long as your presence is still present, and teach them trade. Because wouldn't it be better to barter something other than borrowed time? See, these kids never thought about what they would say as president, only about the excuses to not be one. I think head of state is just a state of mind that you could be president despite your precedent. So I want to teach them what I was never taught, the misfortunes of a dollar. See, growing up broke, I never knew I could miss fortunes I never had or opportunities lost. I don't look back on friends, on things I passed or friends who passed, but I want to say thank you. The lack of resources done gave me everything I needed. Taught me to make the most of memories before I become one. See, school lunch showed me how to give a handout even though I barely make ends meet. Is because I seen niggas meet ends and they was my friends. I give my all just to meet them again. Money doesn't grow on trees, but neither do they, so I don't miss fortunes. I miss my friends, and no amount of power can bring back a ghost. A series of misfortunate events. You ever have a hunger for something you can't have, like a second chance, a second servant of life, knowing some people ate well past the serving size, leaving less for the misfortuned. Like my friend Malik. In the school lunch, he told me that if I don't eat fast, some food would get wasted. He finished his plate at 14, and since then, I've been eating slow, forcing myself to enjoy everything that he couldn't. Like life, see, growing up broke, I never knew I could miss fortunes I never had. So, my fellow citizens, I stand here today, broke, but not broken, to tell you that some things only ever matter when they're being wasted, but life should be enjoyed slowly like good food. See, a full plate normally means responsibilities. I never knew what I would say as president, but I knew that if I made it out the hood, I'd look at all my friends and say, let's eat.
Jeez.
Talk about being influential.
Jeez. Like the the part that one of the parts like that stuck out to me was like uh when you said some of my friends are still in high school. They didn't graduate, but they passed early.
Right.
That one was like, dang,
Thank you.
yeah. Like, and then the next line was like, I would have never skipped school if that was the last time if I knew that was the last time I would have seen them. Fam, that hit.
Definitely. Thank you. That means a lot, actually.
What really stuck out to me was when you were talking about like the kids should want to like aspire to be more than what they are like in their situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like you said something like only excuses not to be one being like president.
Mm-hmm.
And one line was, I do not miss fortunes, I miss my friends. And I liked broke but not broken
Right.
because like okay, so I watched a documentary called The
I knew it was gonna transition there. I knew it was gonna be something
What?
about a documentary,
What? Okay.
something you saw on YouTube. Okay, we go ahead, Ken.
Let me just mute Napoleon B. Mike right now. So, okay, this is the documentary called The Black Godfather, and it chronicles the life of Clarence Avant. He's still alive. However, he's someone. Have you seen it, first of all?
No, I haven't.
Okay, he's very interesting. If you have time or are interested in documentaries, definitely watch him on Netflix. Um, but he's basically an agent, like a very famous black agent. He's like the celebrity in the music industry, and he doesn't have like any formal education really. Like he's someone from the silent generation, so he's born in the 30s sort of thing, and he was just mentored up into the industry,
Mm.
and so in his documentary, he says that he doesn't have problems, he has friends.
Mm.
Mm.
And so your line, I do not miss fortunes, I miss my friends. Like friends are so valuable in life, you know? Like
Yeah.
I think sometimes we feel like chasing material things like money is what is going to give us fulfillment
Nah.
when really it's the experiences you have with people that build who you are and build a life. Like your legacy is how many lives you've touched.
Right.
Yeah, I've always said like, or I heard this in a song though, like, you can get somewhere fast, lonely, but when you're with your friends, it's all about the journey or something like that. But it was like, but you can, but if you get somewhere with your friends, if getting somewhere with your friends is half the fun. Like, if you can reach your goals with your friends, that's half the fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
because you can get somewhere alone by yourself, grind all by yourself, and just be up at the top by yourself and have nobody else there with you and be like, yeah, I'm the best. I did it.
Right.
But still be lonely. Like,
Yeah.
you can have that success fulfilled, but like have nobody around you to kind of be like comfort you when things are going bad, or like because you left them all in the past.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. My point in bringing up Clarence Avant was also I said he had no formal education, but he became like a very powerful agent. He got there through people connecting him and the relationships he built. So, your poem it talks about some of where you came from and a little bit of how you became the artist you are now. So what was that moment that inspired the poem we just heard, and how does that tie into the message you send to your listeners?
Mm. Um. So originally, this poem was supposed to be two different poems. Supposed to be a poem about what I would say if I was president. And you can hear that very much in the beginning of the poem. And the second poem was supposed to be about a thank you letter to all my misfortunes. And you can hear that in the end of the poem.
Mm.
But when I was writing both of them, I realized they was both heavily influenced about the fact that I lost a friend recently. And the second one was heavily influenced about a friend who I've lost a long time ago. And ultimately, I just thought it would be better if I put both of these poems together because of the message that they was giving out was very similar. Um, so yeah, the loss of life is what heavily inspired both of them, and it's sad, but I'm just glad that something was able to be created from it, especially so that they can live on like through this poem. Um, but what was the second part of your question?
Well, my second part was how does that tie into the artist you are today? However, just to speak on what you just said, um, it's really interesting, like as artists, what our intentions are with a poem versus what other people take from it. Because I feel we were talking about something way different than, sort of how you started with it.
Right. I think poetry is very subjective to how each person interprets it. But to tie it back to the artist I am today, um, I go by retro, RETRO, and that means a lot about like looking back at the past. Originally, when I came up with that, well, I didn't come up with that name. My cousin came up with the name. But when I was given that name, it wasn't because I tied things in with the past a lot. But I feel like as a writer, I've grown to tie in a lot of things that happened in my past.
Mm.
And I feel like a lot of writers do. But me specifically, I like to tie in like things that I like to allow memories to live through my poems. So my poems recently have been a lot about like old memories that I remember and things I don't want to be buried through time. You feel me? So I bring them back, and that's very much what retro means. So I'm just trying to live up to my name, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, you're living up to it. I wrote down a little quote from the poem that you just read. Um, dot dot dot. Their story more important than his story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, and that line, when I wrote it, it's because you're alive right now, and that allows you to create your story, right? Everything that you do ties back into like when you're gone, that's how you remember it. So it's better to write your story, and your story will always be more important than the past because you're currently creating new stuff. So their story will always be more important than his story. But as well as like a double entendre on the word history because his story could be the person who portrays them when they're talking about them in the past, or as well as like the person that murdered them. You feel me? So I just want them to be able to live because their story will always be more important than anything.
Yeah. Honestly, I hear like the the his
Come on.
story and history are kind of like I get that like because Michael Jackson kind of did that album with where he had his story and then it was like a
Mm,
double another title with it with
right.
his and then story like combined it and it's like that's a fire explanation of like how history can be like his story like the whole history can I don't know it's just that that's just fire.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Retro. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. We're coming back to Retro with more poems here on Poetry Slam. And we're back on Poetry Slam with Bellz.
And your boy Napoleon B. Mate.
We've got Retro in the booth.
What's up?
What's up? What's up? So,
What?
you know we want to hear another poem.
Right.
Alright, I got the perfect poem. I feel like this one's shorter than the last one. Run. When the guy with the gun raises his arms to shoot, you run. Bang, I've been running track longer than I can remember. And buying shoes just as long. I mean, I would run so long my shoes would lose their souls. And I don't know if that's a metaphor, but I've been running from my problems for so long. It feels like I lost my soul. When I was 7, me and my friend came face to face with a gun. We ran, praying that every step was closer to home and not to heaven. Thank God he didn't want to see any of us that day more than our mothers did. I never told him. Instead, I asked for new shoes. Said these ones are too used to running. I need something a little slower. I tried everything from skate shoes to boots and show toes. Eventually, I became known to wear Jordans, believing the Jumpman logo can help me get over all my problems. Instead, it helped me inherit new ones. See, Jordan is stitched to the back of the shoe, so no matter where I go, I'm running from someone who's used to shooting. Like I said, I've been running track longer than I can remember. It feels like ever since I put on shoes, I've been destined to run. Thank you.
Okay, delayed snap.
What do you mean? You heard my snaps on time.
Delayed.
No. They were on time.
Okay.
They were stuck in the past for Retro to pick them up.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Damn. That poem was deep. That poem stuck out. Cause like I don't know if I lost my soul, but like that part, that's just cause it's a double entendre. Cause like
Right.
the soles of your shoes or your actual soul, like that was like. Repeat that line for me, just so I can make sure I quote it right.
Let's see. I've been running so long my shoes will lose their souls. And I don't know if that's a metaphor, but I've been running from problems for so long. It feels like I lost my soul.
Okay, yeah, that one, that one was fire. Cause
Thank
it's
you.
just like you've been just running so long that you don't know whether you lost your soul or your soles or the feet of your shoes are gone. Like that's fire.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great imagery, whether it's lost or just worn down.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So, what was your intention for that poem?
So this poem was actually I was at a writing workshop by it was curated by the poet Ebony Stewart. Um, and she told us this is gonna sound really weird, but she told us to think of a museum for us and what we would put on the outside of the museum and what we put on the inside. And in the end, the museum was like a metaphor, and we had to write a poem about everything on the outside that can't be like that we want people to touch and we want people to see, and on the inside of the museum would be things that we don't want people to touch. So for me, my museum was like I wanted a track field on the outside. I wanted like a wall of shoes that I collected on the outside. I wanted um some other stuff that I can't remember right now. But on the inside, I wanted the memories of my friends, and I wanted memories of myself growing up, and I wanted my parents on there, and all of those are things that can't be like I don't want people to touch. And so when I wrote a poem about all of these things, that's what I got. Um, that poem I just gave y'all titled one.
I love Ebony Stewart. She's an amazing poet.
She really is. She's super amazing.
She's just, and the fact that you got to meet her. Did you get to like interact with her or anything?
Yes, I even showed her the poem after I was finished. It was really great.
Wow. When was that? And is it on your Instagram?
It's not on my Instagram actually. It was a couple months ago when the Woman of the World Poetry Slam came to Baltimore.
Oh man, I wanted to go, but I couldn't.
It'll be back in Baltimore next year. So
Next year.
Next year, I have to
Wah,
wait a
wah.
whole year. Damn.
I was asking if it was on your Instagram because I know you have some pictures with other poets on there. So you definitely brushed shoulders with some local stars like Black Chakra.
right,
Oh, yo.
I'm super blessed to be able to talk to a lot of different poets. I know a lot of poets, and I'm super lucky and super blessed to know these poets. So just shout out to them. Shout out to Black Chakra, Afro Nehemiah, um, Lady Breon, Langston Hughes, all of Baltimore's like big poets, and shout out Slamageddon, which is Baltimore's adult poetry slam team.
Yo,
Ooh.
it's Black Chakra. Black Chakra, yo, he's so fire, bro.
Definitely.
Napoleon be my favorite.
Out of all the Baltimore poets, he's my favorite.
Oh.
Yeah, he's fire.
Yeah, he's definitely my favorite poet too.
I think mine is definitely Quiche the Lioness.
Oh, the host of Poetry Party, she's
Yes.
super dope.
Yeah, she's dope, but she's like in top. She's top five. She's top five.
Top 5. We got to get onto some top 5 lists for sure.
Nah, for real.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our game, Name That Poem. And
Mhm.
after that, we're going to wrap this up with another of Retro's performances. So to get started with this, we're going to do the version where Napoleon B. Might and I will read a poem, and whoever's reading it, the listener has to guess the name of that poem.
Mhm.
Okay.
How it goes. That's the name of the game.
Everybody
Name
get it?
that poem.
Cool. Okay. So Napoleon B. Might, you can go first.
Okay.
Because I have one that's kind of long.
Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping there to catch his woods fill up with snow. My my horse might think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. Only the only other sound is swept of easy wind and snowy flake and downy flake. These woods are lovely, deep, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. Miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep.
What?
You
That was a
don't
great poem, but I don't know the name. Name that poem. Cowboy poem.
cowboy poem. Oof. Oof. Okay, you're gonna be mad at yourself when you find out who this is by.
Oh. Retro, what do you think?
If I had to name the poem, I would call it. I would just call it Miles.
Mm.
What's
Mm.
the name?
Okay, you gotta guess. Yeah, guess who wrote it.
I don't know. You're really stumping me
Retro.
because you're telling me that I should know.
I don't know.
What?
Stopping by the woods on a snowy evening by Robert Frost.
Oh. Yeah, I should know that. That's okay.
That's what I'm saying, Kay.
Okay.
Jeez.
Well, other than that, I was definitely paying attention during literature class in elementary school when we were reading Robert Frost stuff.
Man.
Okay. So here we go with this one. This is Should I tell you who it's by?
No.
I'm not gonna tell you who it's by
No,
because
let us guess that one too.
you tried to do a double stump. I don't know how I feel about that. So here we go. Rotating bodies, confusion of sound, negative imagery holding us down, social delusion, clearly constructed, human condition, morals corrupted, trapped in reaction, lawlessness, war, dissatisfaction from bowels to core. Devil's technology, strategy for human mythologies, urban folklore, sick of psychology, counterfeit cure. Wicked theology, robbing the poor, scheme, demonology, mislead the pure. Strictly strategically studying war, light shown in darkness, image exposed. Few can see through the emperor's clothes. Lustful, this hustle turn humans to hoes. When the blind lead the blind, just more trouble and woes. It's the mind that they chose. It's designed to stay closed. Standard of jokers, court jester logic, sick looking cosmics from schoolyards to college. Primitive man with civilized knowledge. System collapse, he still won't acknowledge. God is the savior. Studies behavior, trying to fix the mixed mind that he gave you. Stiff necked scholars on prescription meds, wishing their problems were all in their heads. Moral dilemma. Pride is the root, misguided from youth, heart divided from truth. Egyptians and Grecians spiritually dead, imperially led by the gods in their heads. Motives and thoughts, industrial wealth, global economy, in it for self. Heart full of madness, covered with kind, pleasure designed to take over your mind. Furnished in godliness, painted in good, this tainted priesthood got real saints misunderstood. While classes in government set up the veil and cultivate minds for more mythical tales, typical Hollywood follies good girl, while vice and corruption take over the world. Motives and thoughts, check your motives and thoughts, blind with the wickedness deep in your heart. Modern day wickedness is all you've been taught. Lied to your neighbors so you get ahead. Modern day trickery is all you've been fed. Motives and thoughts. Check your motives and thoughts. Okay.
Okay. So
Name that poem.
Retro, you wanna go first?
If I had to name it, it's very hard because I felt like it was talking about so much. Especially the end felt very different in the beginning, but in the middle of it, they was talking about the emperor's clothes, and I know that that's like a children's story, so I want to say it's probably named after that.
Okay.
I'm gonna say modern day.
Modern day.
Modern day.
And yours was children's and
The,
clothes?
the emperor's clothes.
Emperor's clothes? Ah. It's motives and thoughts.
Oh, you know what? It was right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was thinking that until you started saying modern day at the end.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the
Right
repeated
there.
one, yeah.
It's right there.
Who do you think wrote that? This is a very famous person, just so you know. No one in the cut, no one on Instagram, nothing like that. Very famous.
Is it a new one or an old famous person?
Um, I don't know. Okay, how about I say this? I picked this person because they're one of my favorite Aquarians. So they're an Aquarius celebrity.
I don't know.
You don't know? That was for you, Retro. It's Lauryn Hill.
You know what?
Yeah, that was for Retro because we were talking during the break about zodiac signs, Lauryn Hill. She's an Aquarius. And that was her poem.
You know what? I should have known you was gonna pull a Lauryn Hill poem out because you mentioned Lauryn Hill in the beginning of the show.
Sure did. It all connects.
You know, I really hope you're not like Lauryn Hill, like late to your concerts.
Yeah,
I mean,
what?
I mean, like showing up late to your concerts.
That's so going to be me. Everybody's going to
Oh, my
wait like
goodness.
48 hours for me. They're going to be like, we got to come back in 2 days for K-Bells. and it's gonna be worth it.
Nobody's gonna show up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Retro, do you have an untitled original work or just a poem from one of your favorite poets that you'd like us to name?
Hmm. Um. I think I do have an untitled original.
Untitled poem. Untitled poem. Untitled poem.
I'm not doing it.
Untitled poem.
What?
Hmm.
Not us putting Retro on the spot.
Oh, actually, it's right here.
Okay.
Or maybe it's not. Where did it go?
Oh,
Oh
snap. No.
man.
Not the disappearing
Okay.
act.
Here it is.
Okay.
On days where I feel serene, I also feel inadequate. As if the peace leaves me uneasy, like I don't know if the calm comes before or after the storm, so I move within a whirlwind of duties, let poems fly like dust. I'm never settled on just one thing, just one word, or just one place. I gotta move, shake the ground wherever I go. These poems be the fault lines to the day my words make the earth quake. You not ready for the aftershock? I'm not sure if the calm comes before or after the storm, so I write in waves, back and forth until I'm all tied up in slams, be tsunamis, be pain before and after. Are you scoring me on the destruction I've washed over or how beautiful I made it seem these days? I be trying to find space in my writing, trying to turn poem into constellation, but my mind be meteor, be Big Bang, creation from destruction, be resurrection, be both graveyard and garden, dead ideas become fertilizer for the growth of new ones. My poems be pain, inspiration be death, be racism, be everything I hate about my environment. I've become used to it, trapped in a never ending hurricane of hurt because I don't know if the calm comes before or after the storm.
Name
Uh,
that
Thank ya.
poem.
you know, I was thinking before or after the storm or the storm.
I don't even want to say mine because I just feel it's not adequate for the
Just say it.
quality that you just delivered.
Just say it.
Okay. Poetic weather.
Poetic weather. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I see where you came from with that one.
Yeah, I see what you're thinking.
Yeah.
What do you want to name it? That's the.
Hmm.
I mean,
I don't know.
if you had to vote between the ones we gave you, like, who's winning here?
I like the simplicity in just saying the storm, but I also like the title of Poetic Storm because it gives like a summary of what it means, right?
So it's a
Yeah.
combination of ours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can be equal. We can share. Yeah.
Oh, she never wants me to win.
Why are you making it seem like I'm the leader of your hate base?
You are.
I'm not. I'm
Sometimes
one
you
of your
are.
biggest fans.
Sometimes.
Okay. We can talk about that later. I'm not. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all poets on the show. um okay. Well, thanks for playing Name That Poem. I actually have an untitled monologue that I kind of want to read,
She just wrote it.
but I don't want to like go over our time.
She
So,
just wrote it.
what are you whispering about? Listen, don't. Noise canceling. um, I feel like some of my best creativity happens under pressure. Like whether it's the pressure of time or the pressure of emotions,
Mm.
that's when my art comes out. Pressure feeds my inner artist.
AKA, she just wrote it today.
Hey, Retro, what feeds your inner artist?
Um, Definitely emotions, right? I feel like any type of artist, no matter what you do, the foundation for it has to be emotion. Otherwise, it feels very
Disconnected.
unconnected. Yeah, and so mine is definitely emotion, but also for me because I do poetry slam, it's definitely my competitive nature fueling it as well, because I want to be able to not in a sense show off that I'm good, but I want to be able to compare myself with other writers to see how good I really am, and always have a room for improvement so that I can work on making myself better.
Okay. Emotion.
Okay, okay, thank you, Retro.
What? Anyway,
Yeah.
not that anybody asked, but I feel like emotion fuels mine as well. Like emotion and having like poetic moments. It's a term I coined when you're just listening to something and then it inspires a poem.
Mm.
So like it could be a rap, a song, another poet. It could be anything. It can be even be a conversation that inspires a poem
Right.
and triggers that poetic moment.
Right. You are so right. Nobody asked. Get what you wanted. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll be nice. I'll be nice. So, Retro, thank you so much for sharing your artistry on our show. If you have another poem that you want to share, let it rip. Otherwise, we're gonna promote and outro you.
I do have one last poem.
Ooh.
Give me 1 second to find it actually.
Okay. Well, we'll give you all the time you need. In the meantime, I'm gonna take your spotlight and read this monologue. Like, I'm not gonna do that to you.
Okay, so the title of this poem is called Loose Change. Um, and I wrote this as from the inspiration or the poetic moment of hearing another poem titled Penny Dreadfuls by Metamorphosis. So shout out to her.
Mm.
You know, every coin has a story. I'm very inquisitive of the one society dismissed, even if it's only one. Like a penny, there's still value in change being tossed aside, still worth in every penny, nickel, or dime dropped in the act of interchanging. So I be looking. You know, every black person also has a story. Just listen to the one society has dismissed. Even if it's only one, the story of them being tossed aside doesn't change, but they don't find worth in looking, just giving up. It ain't worth their time, so I be penny pinching. Tight grip, like you the one I'ma hold on to. I'm trying to save as much or as many as I can. Pick them off the street, show them safer hands. I be a shelter. A bank for the change dropped, a safe for everyone wrongfully withdrawn from society, a savings account of the forgotten, trying to help gain interest on everything taken. I be a collector, a savior of sorts. Value is arbitrary, and I choose to find value in everything tossed aside, so I be catching. But here's the catch, how can I expect to see change in these streets if I'm too busy picking up the change in these streets? Too busy taking it upon myself to save them that they not saving themselves. I'm not a hero, just a savior of change. Thank you.
Yo, that last line, dog. That last line, bro.
Just a savior of change.
Nah, I mean the line before that too. Like, how do I expect to be the change when when I'm just picking up the change? That's fire.
Thank you.
Love that, dog. Cause yo, you got like you definitely have like nuggets in your poetry that could be like quoted, like quotes. And I love it. I love that about your poetry. It's
Thank
just
you.
like you could definitely like put that in a quote and be like,
Right.
yeah.
That poem actually is something I wrote for a book that I'm working on. It should be dropping um early next year, hopefully.
Mm.
Oh snap! A poetry book early next year.
Don't steal my shine, dog.
What?
I'm working on a poetry book too, dog. Like I have enough poems. I just need to sit down and put them, select which ones I want in the book.
Right.
So it's like, cause I have so many, it's like it's hard to decide. And like, and with like, it me wanting to be like a debut of like how I am and what that kind of defines me. It's like It's hard.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah, okay, so that's what we have to look forward to from you. Thank you so much for your poems, and we definitely want to keep following your work and your rise to fame.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, we have a poetry book that we're going to be looking for in 2024. Hopefully.
January, February. Not to put any, not to put any, not to put any months on you, but like,
Hopefully, like February,
Okay.
March.
okay, bet.
February. Okay,
February,
so
March.
what else is upcoming for you this summer? Can we catch you at any shows?
Um, so if you ever heard of Charm City Slam, they're a pretty big slam, and I have the honor of being in it for the end of this month. So fourth Thursday, I'll be at Charm City Slam at Unity Hall, I believe, from 7:30 to 10, I believe. And you can buy tickets for that at their Instagram at Charm City Slam. I have some other events, but I just don't know what yet. But
Okay.
it definitely will be more events.
Keep us updated, and we'll promote them on the show. For real.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That means a lot.
Okay, definitely watch and listen for Retro on Instagram, retro_TR, right?
Right.
And watch out for him on Charm City Slam coming up this summer,
Yeah, watch out for Retro,
right?
The-
Any
the quotable poet.
the quotable poet.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Put that in your bio, bro.
I got you.
Yeah.
You don't have to put that in your bio, you know. But any last words for our listeners and our viewers?
Well, you already shouted on my Instagram, so just like if y'all follow me, thank y'all so much, and just like yeah, I want to take y'all on like this journey with me through of how I'm trying to become one of the best like slam poets.
Okay. This is an emerging poet who is emerging to be one of the best in Baltimore and soon to be the world, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much, Retro. We'll be following you on Instagram, retro_TR, and we can't wait to see and watch you at Charm City Slam this summer.
Exactly.
We'll be back in 5 minutes. And we're back on Poetry Slam with Bellz.
And your boy Napoleon B. Mike. We're back.
We are back with TayDZ.
Bum 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 bum. Not the womp womp womp.
Can't get nothing. Can't get nothing. It's all good.
You know, we love you, TayDZ, and everything you bring to the show, which is mainly poetry news. Of course, we've got to sideline you for some original poems from Bellz and Napoleon B. Mite. Right. So you've got to react to our fresh content.
Ooh, we.
Yes.
You got fresh content, okay?
I do have fresh content that I wrote before the show, Napoleon B. Mite.
Okay.
Exactly. I don't even know if I want to read this. I don't. It's a monologue. This is my first monologue that I've written for the show, and it feels rough. So listen to this closely so that when you hear monologues from me in the future, you'll remember this and realize, oh my goodness, she's so good at it.
She's so good.
She's so good.
She's so
So
good.
good.
Okay, here we go. I have a full basket of scenes I pick through to live around my daily happenings around me. I have control of nothing in reality, so I make a scene to not feel seen in a world of oddities. I make a place to pretend to be in moments where I am not the alien. I am still the child in my scenes hiding on the top shelf of the closet. I am still the teenager screaming in the bottle. I am now the woman done growing and getting older, watching my lineup of characters. You are the villain. You are the red herring. You are the Joker. I am the main character. You, and you are the side characters. No speaking. Let's begin. The plot where I am the victim, the hero, the damsel, the queen. Entertain me as I am just the viewer, lost in your audience, stuck watching the happenings, laughing at the tragedies until it is time to pick a new scene. Oh, I have a basket full.
Okay, Bellz.
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 That is titled Opening Monologue 1.
Opening monologue 1.
I'm feeling very famous, so obviously I have to make myself sound like I smoke cigarettes every day. I have to put on my Doja Cat voice. You know how her
Okay,
voice
Kat.
changed after she had like a really great album? Then she started sounding like she smoked, like on her albums.
You know, okay.
It's evolution. This
Yeah,
is
okay.
this is fame, guys. I know you only know clout, but this is fame.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm full of zingers tonight. Okay.
I really enjoyed that. Like, you
Oh.
are the main character, the victim, the damsel. That kind of, I don't want to say anything, but yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying.
I don't.
Um,
TayDZ, what are you about to say?
I mean, you
Tay
are.
knows what I say. Tay knows what I'm saying.
You're the main character of your story. You are. Every arc in your story concerns you because you are the one that they are coming after in the story. You pointed out, or are you calling yourself a victim? Or are you saying that the antagonists of your story are considering you the victim or trying to make you a victim?
I'm saying that I think I am the victim and I'm making the people around me victims because that's how I feel about myself.
Mm.
Um,
Like, I feel like a victim in my own reality. And to get some control, I pretend that other people around me are actually the victims. And it's like
Mhm.
pretending I have control over an uncontrollable situation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the intention. I'm not sure
Okay.
if it was communicated because y'all know that was rough. That was written before the show.
Right before the show.
Hey, hey, a producer in the making.
Okay. Now it's a real poetry. Say
Oh
no.
my gosh.
Stop.
That was a real monologue from my inner artist. And she's not
Yeah.
at all injured at your criticisms.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was just kidding anyway, but okay.
Thinly veiled.
Uh,
Thinly veiled truths. Go on.
oh, um, this one is called Fast Thoughts. No rest for the weary. Yeah, I've heard that before. What about the burnt out? Of us who run on little to no sleep. Those of us who, when we finally do get sleep longer than usual, we sleep all day, then get mad at ourselves because we weren't productive. What about rest for us? Sometimes my brain goes into hyperdrive. Okay, maybe that's a hyperbole. Sometimes it feels like my brain is on a bullet train connected to a rocket ship with a supersonic engine. Maybe I'm going too fast. Maybe I think too much. Maybe I'm not focused. Maybe. Why do I focus so much on the maybes? Maybe they don't want like it. Maybe they won't get the message. Maybe I should stop writing. Maybe I should write more. I know I should write more. Why is that a maybe? Hyperdrive, hyperbole, metaphor, simile, writer's block, hurdle, stuck in the same pattern, stuck in the same place. Ruts. Why? It feels like I'm in a maze, like a rat trying to find cheese, or a person trying to find a way out, or a minotaur, or God. Read the Bible, pray. Read the Bible, pray. Read the Bible, pray. Create. Thinking of ways to get my poetry heard. Thinking of ways to get my poetry to the masses. Brain full of ideas. Brain full of ideas I haven't started. Brain full of ideas I've started but haven't been consistent with. Procrastinate. Some think I procrastinate because I'm not passionate. Passion too high, thoughts too fast, life too fast. I gotta slow down, stumble over words, push, pull like a wave, tsunami drowning in ideas. I don't know where to start because all I see is the finish. I see the big picture before I even start. I want to finish. I want to reach the finish, but it's too far. Waiting for my big moment. Need sleep so I can focus. Need rest so I can be my.
Okay. B Mite. That's definitely one of the more elaborate poems I've heard you read. A lot of imagery. I like the pace at which you read it. Definitely made a hamster running on a wheel. Very vivid.
Yeah, that this was one that I think this is one of your more performance dependent pieces you've made because the poem doesn't work if you don't start reading fast in the middle. You know, like the franticness of it. Once again, be my you always make a good poem where I can sit back and be like, you know what? I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. Um.
Oh,
I try to make poems that are relatable, but also define me
mm-hmm.
because it's just like everybody goes. I'm not the only one that goes through the same thing, and I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that. So it's like
Mhm.
with me knowing that I'm not the only one that goes through the same thing. It's like I gotta make sure that it hits the people it's supposed to hit, and hit the people who don't relate. Help them to relate.
Oh yeah, you hit me a lot of times with some of these, BMI. You definitely do. I understand the idea of, you know, gotta do this, gotta do that, but I should do this. I ought to do that. But then again, maybe I should just rest on it.
Yeah.
So, well, you both are very, very amazing poets, just want to say. And maybe one day you can win a Pulitzer Prize for your poetry, which, ooh, 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 that is my sign. Because let's go into some poetry news real quick. Now, I have a couple pieces. The most important piece, however, is I want to talk briefly about the winner of, the mm, words of the 2023 Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. So they awarded this out within the last week. His name is Carl Phillips. Um, he won it for a collection of poetry that he compiled in a book called "Then the War." Um, Someone described his poetry as almost prayer like. You know, is almost like hymnals, prayers. And I thought to myself, hmm, you could turn prayers into poetry. I don't know if y'all have ever written poetry that was like a prayer before.
I
Definitely.
definitely have,
I
yeah.
definitely have.
I
I think I have a few in my arsenal that. Go
that you
ahead.
would read like live?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I've written a few of those and buried them in the backyard. Because like I used to do this thing where I would write letters to God, and sometimes when I'm, thinking, it's sort of in a rhythm, and when I buried them, I think I thought that was my way of sending them, like putting them in the earth for, the dust to become dust,
Mm.
something like that. This was years ago.
Yeah, I have a few that I would like read still, and I think there's one or two that I haven't finished that I think I would finish.
King of unfinished poets. I mean poems. King of unfinished poems.
I take that crown. I take that crown because with having a poem unfinished, it just lays new groundwork for a poem that could be amazing.
Having a poem unfinished is not better than having a poem last minute.
Hmm. Finished versus unfinished. I have to say finished wins in that regard. I'm sorry, that's
Oh,
just factual.
oh.
That's just factual.
Well, I mean, of course, but like
But
unfinished poems could lay the groundwork for a takeoff poem.
you know what?
A
I have so
poetic
many
moment.
unfinished stories that I never touched them again after a while. But you go back to them and you think to yourself, I can do something with this.
Exactly. You can use the dust from that unfinished poem and create a whole new poem.
Mm.
Unfinished poem versus a poetic moment.
Oh, poetic
Ooh,
moment.
poetic moment.
Poetic moment.
TayDZ, back to the news.
I will say also, this man, Carl Phillips, was the chancellor of the Academy of American Poets from 2006 to 2012.
Hmm.
Now, I didn't know there was a chancellor. So that'd be pretty cool for a pretty cool aspiration one day. Speaking of writing, I'm going to give a small update for the WGA writers' strike. We're in day 10.
Oh,
Snap.
dang. That's
And
that's that's a long time for a writer.
oh, but you know what? There have been people who have definitely walked out. Important people. Quinta Brunson is striking. Um, According to those who know her from Abbott Elementary.
Mhm.
Rashonda Rhimes definitely striking.
She's paid
Uh,
though. It's like, let me just.
Seth MacFarlane, a Family Guy. And American Dad, he's striking. He stopped writing. He's striking.
Oh man.
These are
Because
heavy.
I actually read about Seth MacFarlane, I think a few years ago. I'm not sure when, but there was a time when he didn't want to write an episode, or he couldn't write an episode in time for his show. So Fox basically took control of his show and wrote the episodes that they wanted.
Mm.
And then the guy from The Wire who wrote The Wire is taking a strike.
Where's the strike happening again, TayDZ?
New York City and Los Angeles.
And Los Angeles. Shoot, we ought to take a road trip.
Yeah.
We need to be
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there striking with
We
them.
we need to be on that strike line.
Absolutely.
Also, the Directors Guild is basically going to probably very likely helping out the strike. The Screen Actors Guild president Fran Drescher, she's on the fence. She's playing it
What?
politically.
Not the nanny.
What the heck?
The nanny.
I do remember her from The Nanny. I love that show.
That's the poetry news, though. I'll give more updates next week and
Oh.
some more news as well.
It's rumored that Jamie Foxx is out of the hospital.
Also true.
Oh,
Not even rumored. His daughter confirmed it.
Okay, cool.
She actually deconfirmed the previous rumors of him on him.
On life support.
Yeah, basically waiting for the worst. She deconfirmed those.
Okay, cool. Because I was just like, there was rumors of him being on life support. People, his family waiting for the worst. And
Mhm.
then, like, today, it's like, he's out of the hospital. Like, huh?
She was like, "Yo, he'd been out the hospital for a minute, so somebody was lying."
Right.
somebody was lying. But TayDZ doesn't lie with this news. Thank you so much for the poetry news, TayDZ. And we'll be back in 5 minutes with our next guest, Brook, the artist. And we're back on Poetry Slam with Bellz.
And your boy Napoleon B. Mate.
Yes, yes, yes. We have BrookDArtist in the booth.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing pretty great. So I'm sorry that I had a quick pause there. Napoleon B. Mite is definitely figuring out our camera situation because he's the tech here. He's the tech.
Got you.
Okay, so everybody can see you now, Brook. Thank you so much for coming onto our show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Now we know you have multiple talents. You're great at drawing, you're great at making music, and you're great at poetry.
I wouldn't say great at poetry. It is something I do. The other things, though, yeah, I'll take credit for that. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Well, this is a poetry show, and we appreciate that you're willing to come on here to perform the thing that you claim to not be great at. So.
Right. We are here to hear your poetry, bro.
And we're here to be excited at you surprising yourself at your ability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're here to hype you up.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I really do. I hear a lot of the stuff that y'all do. I think it's really beautiful. And I would love to be hyped by people who I think are great poets. So.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're
Of course,
so glad to have you on. And we're excited that you're a fan of the show as well. So we have to ask
Definitely.
you some of our famous questions,
Okay.
which are, what feeds your inner artist?
What feeds my inner artist? That's a great question, Bellz. Thank you. I think what feeds my inner artist the most is actually just life. I'd say life, number one, in its entirety. And number two, people, I think. Namely other artists, but it doesn't have to be. You know, I just learned so much through experiencing life and through living, and I see things and I see art. I kind of see art in everything. So I guess that's why I say life. Life is everything to me. And in terms of people, I think people produce art sometimes and they don't even realize. Like, I've had people say things and it sounds like a scene out of a movie, or say something and it sounds like it could be lyrics to a song, or they'll sit a kind of way and I'll be like, wow, this would be really cool to like draw. It's just everywhere I look, I see art in things that I think most people just look over as something every day. And I think that that's a really beautiful source of inspiration for me and any artist who wants to get into it.
Okay. So you know we want you to prove everything you just said with a poem.
Exactly.
So let's hear it.
Okay, word. So I have 3 poems for y'all today. They're kind of personal, but you know, that's what I'm here for, I guess.
Home of the exclusives.
So number 1, is called Flower in the Forest. I made this. I was single when I made this. I was single. I don't even think I'd ever been in a relationship at this point. It's about a hypothetical relationship that I'm in towards a hypothetical lover. And I thought, if I was in a relationship, this is the poem I'd write right now. So that's what I did. All right, y'all ready? Okay, it's pretty short. In the God-forsaken forest where even fires go to die, there's a place that's oddly pleasant and lights the darkened sky. In the God-forsaken forest on the coldest winter night, there's a flower that will light up almost everything in sight. You're my flower in the forest, and I love you with all my heart. Yeah, that's it. Really short.
We
Thank
love
you,
a
thank you.
shorty. We love a shorty.
Shawty.
I appreciate that. So, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about it?
I think it's very poetic. It's so poetic.
Poetic.
I like it.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I've heard it before. Did you perform that at an open mic?
Yeah, it was an open mic. It was like their very first performance, I think. I didn't actually perform at the open mic. I'm pretty sure it was afterwards, actually. Um,
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Napoleon Be My, that's a better question for you because when I heard the poem, I instantly recognized it. So my impression is not a true first.
So I I literally imagined a garden, and there
Really?
was just a like flower, a singular flower that was just all the focus was on,
Hmm.
and that's what I imagined as you were reading that.
Was that? Well, you already said your intention or like where it came from in the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean the that kind of like it it didn't really ruin the poem for me when you
Mhm.
explained it first, but like it made me kind of imagine differently than I think I would have.
I got
So
you.
like I think, but I still imagine the singular flower in the garden,
Mhm.
like just all the sun and focus was on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, oh,
oh,
sorry.
also, you're good. All right, just real quick. So, would y'all prefer if I don't tell you the meetings and I
Yeah.
don't until after?
Yeah.
Got
So
you. Okay.
like yeah, don't tell us the meaning until after you read it. So.
Got you.
For me, my impression was a vibe of
Okay.
just very romantic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, I think a lot of my inspiration comes from like romance or cuz I don't know, I'm kind of like a hopeless romantic, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of my artistry, especially with poems cuz I feel like a lot of intimacy with poems in particular comes with just a lot of romance there.
Okay. So, how much does that describe like the type of artist you are in your relationship with your art? Like, is that with every art form or?
That's a good question, okay? Thank you. I think personally, poetry in particular is it's just such an intimate thing to me. I don't know. It's just something about the fact that, well, these minds are all silent. There's no backing track. There's no other reason to get into it. Like, you're not gonna listen to a poem because you like how it sounds, like you would for a song. Typically, it's all about the words. It's all about what you're saying. It's all about the deconstruction of what you're saying and what it means. It's very, very personal, intimate, and so I think I just naturally relate that to romance, like automatically, because it's intimacy, just in a different form, I think.
Okay. Okay. So let's hear another one.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure, for sure. And no prior meanings for this one. Got y'all. This one is titled Wilted Petals. A flower with wilted petals and a crooked stem to boot. It's not the flower's fault that it doesn't think it's cute. It doesn't think it's worth the time of day or even rain, so when the sun shines, it hides away in shame. It thinks the love that it deserves will only bring more pain, but it must know that it's a blessing, not some evil bane. I wake and give the flower just a little bit of rain, hoping that it comes out after the full moon wanes. It thinks itself ugly and deserving of its pain, but I vow to give this flower all the love it can obtain. It's Wilted Petals.
The opening line or the within the first few verses that was very powerful for me. Like, it's not the flower's fault it doesn't think it's cute. Like, I just love the whole rhyme scheme, but like that one, like
Thank you.
I actually laughed. I was like, oh, the flower. It's not the flower's fault it doesn't think it's cute.
Really? Okay, word. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm kind of stuck in the garden with this poem.
Stuck in the garden.
Like I'm still in the garden with the poem. Like the flower is still the singular focus,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like it's shying away. It doesn't really think it deserves anything. It's like it's just there, and then when you come and water it, it's like okay, I deserve this. That's what That's
Okay.
that's just how I visualize poems sometimes. If a poem has a similar theme to the first one, I kind of run with that theme.
Mm.
So
Okay. Word. That's really cool. I like that interpretation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I was just thinking, not be my saying your poem is as stale as roses are red and violets are blue. What?
No,
But I'm
don't
glad
interpret
you
it
like
that
the
way.
interpretation.
No, I don't think that's what he's saying. I'm not
No.
Oh,
tripping.
that's not what he
Am
said. Did my mind just go somewhere else?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why do you do that, Kay?
What did I do?
Okay.
Brooke, do you think I did something?
I think you just gave your interpretation of what he said.
Thank you.
I think it was just different
Yeah.
than what he actually said, though.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
know,
Thank you,
perception
bro.
is reality. I
Thank
spoke the real.
Oh man.
Right.
Don't listen to her.
Thank you.
bro.
Thank you for sharing your reality. I take both of y'all's perceptions equally. You know, I appreciate it.
We appreciate you. And
course.
we appreciate your poems. And
Oh yeah, did you want me to go into more detail with that one really quickly or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
break it down.
Okay. Well, Wilted Petals was the time I was actually in a relationship. Again, the whole romance theme. And it was just with a person that was very very into the whole self-sabotaging thing, you know what I mean? And obviously like people aren't into self-sabotaging. It's just something that happens, and you know, they work really hard to get out of it. But I guess my feelings about that relationship at the time that I was in it are pretty greatly exemplified by this poem, because it's sort of personifies the effort and like the care of trying to take care of someone that doesn't think that they deserve it. And when I say take care, I just mean like, you know, give love to, you know, give love and support and compassion, etc., etc. And I guess I kind of compared that in the poem to, well, this one doesn't specifically say it's in a forest or a garden, but in my mind, I guess the way I envisioned it, sort of like a garden, and you have one flower that just literally hides from the sun. It doesn't think it deserves the rain or the water you give it, so you have to give it extra care. And so that's sort of how I, you know, personified that relationship.
Oh, that's an amazing personification. And right now, in terms of being a poet, it's seeming like your brand is romantic poetry. It sounds like you're a love poet.
Well,
Oh man,
Well,
you
well,
already
you're
know the beef.
performing-
You already know the beef between.
You're performing to the real love poets.
Yeah.
So just
So I mean,
clarify your
okay.
brand. How did you get your stage name, and what are you really about? Let's hear it from your mouth.
right.
okay. Honestly, I don't think my brand as a whole would be romance. In terms of the poetry scene, I want to say that, but the next poem I have isn't about romance at all. So, you know, it's kind of
Ooh,
Oh
yeah, it's
man.
kind of breaking the cycle there. But as a whole, my brand, that's what you asked?
Yeah. What's your brand as a whole?
Yeah.
My brand, okay, I guess I can start with my alias, my name, right?
Right.
BrookDArtist. Basically what that means is it's a reference to this show I really really like. It's called One Piece, if any of y'all know it.
I know of it.
You know of it?
Yeah, I haven't really gotten into anime like that.
Gotcha.
I've been trying to.
Okay, hey, you know, progress at your own pace. If you don't like it, that's fine too. But yeah, it's just basically a reference to a character in the show. Number one, his name is Brook. And I had some friends, some really close friends a while back that actually inspired me for this name change. Because they kept comparing me to the character,
Mm.
and I was a little salty because I didn't like the comparisons to the character because I just thought there were so many other characters that was so much cooler. But I took the time to really think about the positive aspects of the character because I'm not like him in every way, but in a few ways, he's an artist. Um, he has an afro for one. My hair is not looking like it right now, but if I were to undo my twist, it'd be pretty big afro. And he's tall and he's light skinned. So he always used to tell me, "Yo, you're Brook.
BrookDArtist.
You're literally him." Yeah. So that's where the first part comes from. The D is also a reference to the show because it's just significance in the show. You gotta watch it to understand. But it also is like a placeholder for the or the. So honestly, you can say Brook the artist, the artist, the artist, the artist. It's whatever. It's supposed to be able to be used for both. So that's what that part is. And the artist part is, I just think the word artist, I don't think there's a word that better encapsulates me. I think if I wasn't an artist, I think I would be a completely different person. Like the way that I view life and people and perspectives are wholly they're based so much off of my relationship with art. And I really do mean it when I say life is my inspiration because I think I see art in everything. And I just randomly had the thought, Brook the artist. It just popped into my head, and I was like, okay. I was repeating it while I was in the shower because that's where I thought of it. And I hopped out the shower and I typed it in my phone immediately, and I was like, this is it. So I actually did a rebranding comic a while back on my page celebrating the death of my old name.
Which
It's
was
it was my old alias was Yuzo.
Brook
And-
the artist is way better.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I figured, yeah. Especially because my real name is Brandon, so it's like Brook Brandon,
Whoa,
pretty close.
never say your real name.
Oh,
no.
You on stage.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. This is my first time here on anything like this. Sorry, but okay, got you. Forget I said that. Yeah, basically the first alias, it was like a rough. I was trying to think about words that held meaning to me, and I was like the universe because I would have like constant existential crisis about the universe and whatnot. And so I am pretty sure I literally I looked up. I don't know why I chose Chinese. I was like, what's the Chinese translation of the word universe? And I looked that up, and it wasn't the exact word, but I was like, okay, if I add to this, it sounds like a specific thing. If I take some letters out, so it was really random. I like Brook the artist a lot more too. So
Yeah, Yuzo. What?
yeah, a bit different.
I've had a name change too.
Really.
I've always been K Bellz.
Yeah. I was the villain at one point.
Oh, you an MF Doom fan?
Nah. I don't.
Actually, I did have a name change. I think it was Truly K at first.
Truly K. K Bellz is better.
Yeah.
It's like Slay Bells, but it's Kayla.
K
Wait,
Bell. Who?
It's like
Huh.
I said, it's like Slay Bells, but
who?
Kayla.
Who?
Oh, okay.
What?
Nah.
Oh, I was talking about her name change.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but yeah. I went through that name change and I was like, cause I mean, my favorite villain is the Joker, so like,
Okay.
so that's kind of, excuse me, that's kind of the brand I went off of.
hmm
But I mean, I still go off of that brand, but just as Napoleon beat Mike.
Okay.
So,
Word.
like,
Why is it a Joker if you don't mind me asking?
cause he's just so out of control and chaos, and it's just
Yep.
like he just creates chaos to get Batman's attention.
Oh,
So like, I'm just creating chaos
okay. Word.
just to like get attention, pretty much.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's cool. That's That's interesting because I asked if you were MF Doom fan because I don't know if you know, but one of MF Doom's aliases is he goes by a lot, like the most I've
Yeah.
ever seen is Mad Villain.
Nah.
That's
I,
one of his names because he was he was inspired by a villain as well, Doctor Doom, obviously.
yeah.
So
So yeah, the villain now, Napoleon B. Might, that's the only name change I went through. I actually didn't like perform as the villain or like write anything as the villain.
mhm.
That couldn't have been like easily transformed into Napoleon B. Might. I think
Okay.
I have like one rap type thing that I have written that I haven't like performed or anything yet. So I think I'm gonna save that for a later date till I can actually like rap it over a beat.
Okay.
Okay, Brook
Word.
D artist, you've already broken down the background of your name, so we're ready to hear that non-love poem that's gonna give us the
Okay.
best idea of who you really are.
For sure, for sure. I literally, by the way, y'all, this took 10 minutes. I literally made it while I was waiting for them to start my section, so it's not the best. Let's keep that in mind. This one does not have a title, but I'm gonna give it a title right now. What is fate? That's the title. Okay. I don't at all concur that fate is kind, but I don't concur fate is cruel either. Fate is uncaring like the essence of time. Fate keeps me feeling like a mere outsider. Why would fate create you just to be destroyed? But why would fate create you just to feel joy? Why would fate negate you the things that bring you harm? But why would fate ensure that your heart is feeling warm? I don't know fate and it doesn't know me, but what's there to know? I cannot feel fate. Perhaps it's my fate not to, but I can see the influence of fate through you and you. I see it in your eyes, I see it in your veins, I see it in your agonizing screams of pain, your tears, your joy, your fears, your meals, your poise, your laugh, your blood, your ploy. I don't know fate, but I see it everywhere. As the poem, I'm actually changing the title right now to Don't Know Fate. Write that down.
Oh, snap. Thank you so much, Brooke, for sharing that. We're gonna bring in TayDZ to help us react.
Of course, you're welcome. Thanks for hearing it.
Napoleon B. Might. What did you think?
Um, I kind of felt that poem. Like I kind of related to that poem because like
Hey, wow.
the way that I feel like some things happen to me, it's like fate is like one of those things that can be cruel, but like also at the same time be like fate can bring you to someone that you never thought you would meet. So
Yeah. Quite the double-edged sword, huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
Tay.
Yeah, fate is one of those things. It's just another force in the universe. It's not for you, it's not against you. It's just sort of there, you know. It's just up to you and how you take it.
Mm.
Which, by the way, I do want to say I understood your Brook reference immediately, and I understood the D reference immediately.
I appreciate
Don't
that.
worry,
I
don't
appreciate that.
worry. I'm with you on the blurred sphere here.
Okay,
Oh
got you, man. I
man.
appreciate that a lot.
No problem, no problem.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I have a feeling that um because you wrote the poem so soon before you performed it, there wasn't much you meant. Am I wrong?
Well, the thing is, I don't have a lot of poems. Like I write poems. I would love to take more time to do it, but I just haven't had the time. So I only had those two, and this one. And honestly, it did have meaning. Um, which I can explain if y'all want.
Yeah, explain it.
Okay, so again, it was really quick. So This poem
Oh,
was kind of about my
oh,
relationship with God, I think personally. Um
um,
and there are a
that,
lot of like little tidbits in here alluding to it because I feel like I have a really unique relationship with God. Um for starters, I think God to me, is more of like an energy or a being, and I feel a lot of people usually they usually personify it, or maybe it's not the right word, but they usually give the being of God like human traits, usually traits that relate to them, and I guess I just feel God is more of like, I think if I had to compare God to something, it would be like electricity, to me, like just a force of nature personally. That's sort of how I view it. Um, and I also think that um, a lot of people who I think I'm sort of in the in the middle because I do consider myself like agnostic. And I think a lot of people who believe in God or who both don't believe in God sort of think of it as like a as like a force, or not like a force, as like a more of a person, less of a force. And all the good things that happen, it's because God wanted it to happen specifically to you, which can be positive, but at the same time, sometimes people think that, it with the bad too. And I think if I had to compare my thoughts of God to an existing religion, it'd probably be, and forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe Confucianism's yin and yang, um, uh, I guess, religion.
Taoism,
Um,
he was yin yang.
yeah. Um, because to me, I think that energy of God is more, like I said, a force, and it does make it a little, I guess it does make it a little more depressing in certain instances. Like, well, okay, well then you think God's not here for you, but is also not here against you. You know what I mean? So it's more a balance, and the good things that happen and the bad things that happen, it's not because you're fated to do good or bad or whichever. It's just because that's what fate and God is in my perception. You know?
Yeah, we definitely understand that. And we're actually coming to the end of our showtime. We're running a little bit over, but we do want to do the slam game with you.
Got you, got you. Okay.
So, TayDZ is going to start it with a poem, and then I'm going to go, then Napoleon B might will go, and Brooke, you'll go.
So you can
And
see how it's done and then flow with us.
Got you. I'll
right.
try my best.
So we try to go 3 rounds. If we successfully go 3 rounds, then we'll end it at the three, or until someone gets stuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we normally do. We normally go until someone gets stuck, or 3 rounds, whichever comes first.
Right.
Okay. Try not to get y'all stuck on the first one.
Okay. I mean, it's okay if you do,
All
Yeah.
right, got
because,
you.
you know, it's all in fun.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool.
So, Tay, are you ready? If not, we can give you some more time.
I'm
Oh,
Oh
snap.
man.
Tay
Okay,
is
word.
ready. Let's cut the backtrack.
ready. Yeah. Vicariously, I live through my champions. Shoot, throw, slap, strike. Their success is mine. And like a mine, it can easily detonate in my face if I get in too deep.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, we forgot to say a rule. After you say your poem, say your stage name so we know that you're done. Okay.
TayDZ.
Explosions, explosions. Those are all the things I get from your poetry, TayDZ. I am actually this time not getting that many feelings because I think you need to take it back to the pen and paper. Napoleon B. Might, what do you think? Am I in danger of being more or less creative after hearing Tay DZ?
I think
Hey, Bellz.
explosions, fireworks, 4th of July, like a mime. I think the ones who don't say anything, like stuck in a box, like sometimes Tay can be stuck in a box as far as writing stories or poetry or B might.
Mm.
I don't live through champions. I'm the hero of my own story. I don't wait for explosions and walk away. I cause them so you know I'm here to stay. Brook the artist walking into the fray. Brook the artist.
All I mm. all I hear is people claiming explosions, but all I feel is sparklers on my skin, slight stings, nothing more. I hear I don't think outside the box, but it sounds like I am a box. I'm three-dimensional, and you're sounding just a bit flat. TayDZ.
Hey DZ, please. I have some comments to make about Brook D. Artist was cheating on the slam. He pulled out his pen and paper, man. So I started typing on my keys to catch the exploding rage inside of me. I'm out to Napoleon B. Might, who should be the real explosive one. Might Dynamite. K Bells.
Dynamite is actually part of my name. Napoleon Bonaparte Dynamite is my full rap name, poetry name. I am goofy, short, but Tay, your name lacks creativity, and K, so does yours. Brooke and I are the only two that have a creative name, and it's not even fair to say dynamite without mentioning me. B Mite.
K Bells, K Bells. I don't want to fight. I apologize if it's against the rules to write. I turn my screen off. It's saying good night. I want some time to make this right. Brook the artist.
Mm. I apologize. Let me get it right. Napoleon Vegemite. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to insult. I didn't mean to hurt. I understand you are very creative. I understand your name is original because I already know your complex is Mighty Napoleon. Once again, I understand your name is original. I understand you are the one and only B Might. But then again, your name did come out in 2005, Dynamite. Hey, DZ.
Let me slam back real quick.
No,
Let
no.
me. I'm taking the mic. I'm taking the mic. My name has been around more longer than 2005 because Bonaparte is the first part of my name. Napoleon B. Might is Bonaparte and Dynamite. So I've been around for millions of years, thousands of years. I haven't even been around for too long. But the Napoleon Bonaparte Dynamite, Napoleon B. Might combination is so insane. B. Might.
Slam, slam, slam. Bellz coming back into the slam. My name is mine. It speaks to my identity. That is me. I am unique. Bellz, I come a ringing when you need me. Unique. Good morning, Brook D. Cheater. Wants to be Brook D. Right. You're switching up just like Napoleon B. Might. The only people who are consistent in this slam tonight is TayDZ and me. Because we are truly right. Bellz.
Go ahead.
K-Bells, I wanted to make this right. I wanted some time to come back and undo my mistake. But I know now that's just not my fate. So let me be honest and let me be clear. I could sit here all night spitting bars in this chair. I apologize to you as a mere formality because I sort of think of you like my family. I'm not here to diss. I'm not here to upset. But I'm no longer writing down my bars, so don't fret. BrookDArtist.
TayDZ, you're next.
Napoleon, I could sit here and talk to you, Dynamite, help you get your history right. So we can go ahead and talk about Bonaparte. But you know nothing about the man that you think you can take apart his name and make it part of your own. My friend, all you have is a complex because the Napoleon complex in you isn't very complex to understand. You already called yourself small. And I guess I'm not entirely sure if that meant small in name creativity or small in stature. I personally think you're mighty large, B Might. I think the explosions that come from you are mighty, mighty large. But at the same time, don't come for my name, Napoleon B Might. Don't come for TayDZ. TayDZ.
Hold up. TayDZ, Zag back. I have to defend my co-host really quick because you heard the might in his name. It is very great, and he does come back every time with the rhyme, so don't even dare try to step on Napoleon B. Might. Might as in mighty, Napoleon as in truth. Small in stature, but great in presence on Poetry Slam every night. Now, BrookDArtist, we are family, and it doesn't matter what I like or what you like. It's about respect, and to claim you, I must say that you are allowed to write. However, to gain respect on our show, it's better if you go off the cuff, and that's all I mean to say. Okay, Bellz?
This is the last round of the show. This is the last round. We gotta go. So, Brook, K, Tay, y'all all are trash. It's like, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Nah, I'm all great. I'm grateful for all of y'all coming onto the show. We've had a good show. Retro, we shout out to you. Brook, we shout out to you. Tay, we shout out to you. And my amazing co-host Kay, shout out to you.
Awesome. Everybody follow BrookDArtist on Instagram. Brook, the letter D, artist on Instagram. Thank you all for listening to Poetry Slam with Bellz.
And your boy Napoleon B. Mike. Good night, everybody.
Nice.